Hi, everyone. John Chernesky here. Thanks so much for joining in yet again for a very unique webinar. As you know, we have our Connect with Princess webinar series, and that is usually about talking about new destinations, exciting things in the medallion class, any questions you might have on health and safety. But today we're going to be talking about something very exciting, which is actually working up in Alaska this coming summer. And so we had done a post on this a couple weeks ago and had a ton of response, a ton of shares, and a ton of questions. So I want to know before we start, where you calling in from? How's my hair doing? I just kind of had a weird haircut. I got into a fight with some clippers, but let's hear from you because I'm so excited to have you with us. And the good news is, as most of you know, I don't pretend to be an expert in anything, and especially in this subject. So we're going to have some amazing experts joining us very soon. Liza, thank you so much. San Francisco Bay Area. Really cheap to live there. That's great. Lori from West Hills. See you tomorrow. Yeah, Discovery Princess tomorrow. We're going to see many of you on board. Can't wait. Megan from Delaware, one of our largest states. I've driven through Delaware. I blinked and it was over. Scott from, perfect, beautiful, Anchorage, Alaska. Scott, thanks for joining in. We've got Catherine from Kelowna, if I'm saying it right, Canada. Welcome, Catherine. It's probably snowing there. It's going to be 90 degrees here today in sunny Southern California. Marlene from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Welcome, Marlene. Never been to Chattanooga. Been to Knoxville. Linda Chernesky Cranmer. Interesting. I'm not sure if we're related, Linda, or if you are having some fun, but either way, I love it. Keep it up. You could just call yourself Cranmersky. Welcome, Linda. Good to have you on the program. Deborah from DC, District of Columbia. Went to high school in Fairfax, Deborah. And so I am near and dear to you there. Cheryl from Budapest, Hungary. Welcome, Cheryl. Wow, you get the prize so far for the longest distance dialing in. Cheryl, thanks for coming into the program. And then we'll do a couple more. Antoinette from Escondido, California. Beautiful Escondido. Welcome, Antoinette. Thank you for joining again. And Tyler from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Relocating to West Palm Beach, Florida to work in the Cruise Brothers. Oh, great. Our good friends from Cruise Brothers. Thank you, Tyler, for being here. All right, now with that, let us stop the shenanigans. I'll say again, thank you for joining us, and let's bring in some actual experts. Now, we have 3 joining, although one just lost internet, so we'll see how that plays out. But the first guest in, we're bringing in Kathleen Ashton, who's the general manager of our rail division. Kathleen, welcome. Oh, we also have Rick and Bonnie as well. So all 3 are joining us. Welcome, everybody. Please introduce yourself to the folks at home here and let us know how you got into this wonderful world of Alaska.
Great. I'll start. My name's Kathleen Ashton Kiner, and I actually moved to Alaska way back in 1997, just planning to spend the summer, get a summer job, and just enjoy Alaska. And I never left. And I've been with the company for 24 years and love it up here in Alaska.
That's amazing. I have heard that story about you couldn't leave many times. So thank you, Kathleen, for joining. Bonnie, over to you.
I also have a similar story. My name's Bonnie Westland. I'm originally from Salt Lake City, Utah. Came up here for a seasonal job. I was a front desk agent at the Denali Princess Lodge over 20 years ago and haven't left. This turned into a career. I fell in love with the company. I fell in love with the state, the industry, and it's been an incredible journey.
Well, that's great. So that's awesome. And Rick, last but not least, what is your story?
Hi, Rick Peterson. I'm the general manager at the Mount McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge. And repeating what we've heard already, I came to Alaska after my freshman year in college back in 1999. I delivered luggage right here at the Mount McKinley Princess Lodge and fully intended it to be my one summer trip to Alaska. And before I knew it, I was coming back for another summer. And then I was buying a house, and then I was having kids. And, that's 20 years ago, and Alaska's home.
Oh, that's great. I tell you what, I love that each of you have started from the ground up. You put in the work, the hard work to get to where you are today, and you understand the business inside and out. I think that's so valuable. So we had done this post because we're apparently hiring for some folks to join us up in Alaska this summer and to have that great opportunity, much like you have all had. And I thought this would be a good opportunity because we had so many questions that we go through some of the most popular questions. And at the end, folks, if you have questions that are live coming in, we'll cover those. But we had some pre-submitted ones that I thought we would just run through. So first up, let's see what the first question is. Okay, what is HAP Alaska Union. Kathleen, I'll have you start if that's okay.
Yeah, so HAP Alaska Yukon is the
I keep saying
land
Union.
operator.
I mean Yukon. I'm so sorry. I don't know what is wrong with me.
No worries. But HAP Alaska Yukon, we're the land operator in Alaska for both Holland America and Princess cruises. And we do everything from lodges to trains to motor coaches. And we just run the entire land operation, including port operations. So everywhere in Alaska and the Yukon that you see us, we all work for HAP.
Awesome. Okay. Simple enough explanation. That's great. Thanks for clarifying.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next question up. What are the dates of your summer season? Bonnie.
It's coming up. So we typically operate mid-May through mid-September. We are open when the ships are in Alaska waters. So the ships are starting to head north here at the end of April, and then we'll start our land operations the middle of May. So our hotels will be opening, the rail operations, our motor coach and port operations will be starting up very soon.
Okay, great.
John, if I could add just
Yeah.
real quick to that, we do have some summer positions that are actually starting right now too. So we've got to get the lodges up and running. So we have some positions that are even open right now. You could be working with us tomorrow.
Okay, let's see. What time is it? I can get a flight. Okay. What types of jobs do you offer? Rick, you want to cover that?
Wow, we offer, one of the best things about working for the company is the diversity of the employees and the diversity of the possible positions. So as Kathleen mentioned, we have rail positions, motor coach positions, and then we've got these beautiful lodge locations. Bonnie is in charge of the largest hotel or lodge in the entire state of Alaska. So we have everything that you can imagine at a top quality resort, from behind the scenes positions like maintenance, accounting, administration, human resources, to front of house positions where you're going to interact with guests, our great Princess guests every single day at the hotel front desks, the restaurants, serving, cooking, behind the scenes in terms of getting rooms ready, delivering luggage like I started. So there really is a position for everybody and every interest offered within our divisions.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty cool. A breadth of opportunities. And do you only hire students? True or false? Bonnie, let's go back to you. Let's have you take that one.
False. We do. We hire all sorts of folks with different backgrounds, different ages. You know, yes, you will see a lot of college age students working up in Alaska during the summer. That's how I got started. And Rick and Kathleen too, we started at that age group. But that is not the only type of age group that we hire. We love professionals that are taking a break from maybe a job down in the lower 48. We hire folks from international locations, and we hire retired folks, the whole gamut. We're looking for different talent, different experience to make our HAP family as diverse and rich as possible.
That's great. And just a side note for those that may have missed the reference that Bonnie just made there, the lower 48. So that is an actual phrase used by people in Alaska to refer to us babies down here in the lower 48 where we have normal weather conditions most of the time. So the upper world in Alaska, we're very different here, and it's a true story, but I love that you guys still call it the lower 48. Kathleen, let's jump to you. Can I apply with no experience?
I just have to say Alaska's special. You guys are lower 48 altogether. We're very special up here. Yes, absolutely. You can apply with no experience. Like Bonnie said, we have first jobbers. This is our very first job coming to Alaska. We have college students, and we have retirement folks, and everything in between. Rick mentioned the many, many types of jobs we have. So we love experience. We can hire no experience. We can train you for what you're going to do, front of the house, back of the house. Absolutely.
Well, this is not a pre-scripted question, but let me ask as a follow-up to that. So you don't have to have experience, but what do you think is the core essence that you need for somebody to be successful, no matter what you're doing? Because obviously the variety of jobs, it could be front of house, back of house. What's the inner thing you need to have to be successful?
We just want great people. We want to be the kind of coworker that you want to work with, and we want you to be the kind of coworker we want to work with. So we're looking for all types, and that diversity definitely makes our summers a lot more fun. I know for me, Alaska kept me up here, and also my coworkers. I had some great friends that I've made, and they've become friends for life.
That's awesome. Okay. Next up, we'll go to Rick. How do I get to Alaska? Do you pay for our airfare, or is hitchhiking involved?
Oh, I mean, really, you could do planes, trains, or automobiles. We do have people who like to take the opportunity to drive the Alaska Highway and join us in their car, but the majority of our employees are going to fly up to the state. And we really do our best to take care of you from there. So we do have a flight assistance program for employees where you can actually work with us. We'll actually purchase your flight for you to get you up here to Alaska. And get you to your work location, and then the cost of that flight can be deducted from your future earnings in small installments. So the great thing about that program is you can take the leap, you can come up and join our team here in Alaska and not have any money out of your pocket to do so. It's just going to come out of the earnings that you make over the course of the summer.
Okay, great.
And can I add to that one?
Yeah.
We do have some positions where we will pay for your airfare. They're the trained positions like our commercial drivers. So there are a couple of positions that we will pay for your airfare as well. And everyone, we can buy your ticket for you, like Rick mentioned, and have it come out in installments in your paycheck. But we do have some positions that will pay for airfare as well.
Okay, good to know. All right, next question up. What is it like to live in employee housing? Do all divisions have employee housing available, and how much does it cost? If not, how do I find a place to live? Bonnie, why don't you answer that? As the lord of the largest hotel in all of Alaska, which that blows my mind every time I hear that. What do you say to that?
It's wild, right? So we have a lot of employee housing to accommodate all those employees for our large property. So I'm going to kind of start at the end of that question. If not, how do I find a place to live? So not all of our divisions have housing. Most of our remote locations are hotel properties in the remote areas, like Rick's property, Mount McKinley Princess, my property in Denali. There's the Copper River Princess out near the Wrangell St. Elias National Park, and then Kenai Princess Wilderness Lodge down in the Kenai Peninsula. Those properties have employee housing. They're remote. They're out of major cities. And then we have hotels and operations in the large metropolises of Anchorage and Fairbanks. They may not be as big as a city in the lower 48, but they definitely have places to rent. People can find apartments. They team up with other coworkers and share the rent, share an apartment. And then when you go to one of our remote facilities where we do have housing available, the cost is very reasonable. It's $15 a day. That includes your 3 meals, your room. We include all of the linens. You have no utilities. Even your Wi-Fi is paid for in that $15. Three hot meals. We've got soda stations that are available even in between meals and things like that. And we even include the soap in the laundry room. So really, I think $15 a day is a pretty darn good deal. I wish I could live for that cheap at home. And then most of our rooms are double occupancy. So if you come with a friend or a significant other, we'll definitely room you guys together. And some rooms have restrooms attached, kind of like a hotel room, or they'll have a shared restroom, or it'll be dormitory style, like back in college where the restroom is down the hall. We'll have designated women's restrooms and men's restrooms, and our team keeps those clean as well. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Thank you for that insight. Good stuff. Okay, next question up. What is the starting rate, and can we get overtime? Kathleen, do you want to start with that and see if anybody else has any comments?
Sure. Yeah, there's a wide range. We like we mentioned, we have a ton of different types of jobs. We hire experience, no experience. So the general starting rate is around $12 an hour. Most of those positions are tipped, so they end up making quite a bit more than that. And it goes all the way to 20. It really is a broad range of wages, and we have bonus programs for ending the season. We have referral rewards. We have all other sorts of things that we throw in there. And I wanted to add to Bonnie's, for those of us in the city, I'm in Los Anchorage. We do have RV options as well for people. Some of our folks come up and they stay in their own RV, and they live at one of the schools actually for free to kind of be the presence there during the off season. So there are tons of options. Don't let housing scare you away.
Oh, that's cool. Didn't know that. Okay. Anybody else have context to that, or we covered that? I think it's pretty well covered. Yep.
I'll add one more thing to the RV. In some of our remote locations, we have RV parks and hookups as well. So like in Denali and Mount McKinley Princess, out in Copper River, we have, if you want to live in a remote location with your RV, we have hookups.
Okay, good. This next question is, will I have time off to explore Alaska? Rick, do you want to cover that one?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a princess cruise is the best way to visit Alaska. I think that coming up to work for us for the summer, it might be the best way to really experience Alaska, because Alaska, for the first time people arrive, it is always startling, the sheer size of the state. So one of the best things about coming up for a summer is that you'll have ample opportunity. You'll have days off each week. We definitely work a good number of hours. You might have some weeks where you just have one day off, but you also will definitely have weeks where you have your normal 2 days off. And because we have the amazing infrastructure that we do in the state, you have access to discounts in terms of transportation, discounts in terms of staying at our other properties. So you're able to explore the state in a truly unique way, in a really cost-effective way, in terms of getting to the locations and then having amazing excursions to do while you're in those locations. You can ride the train with Kathleen's amazing folks, and then stay at Denali Princess, which is Bonnie's amazing lodge. And then when you get there, you can get hooked up on a Denali National Park tour, or a flight seeing tour over the summit of North America's tallest peak, or go river rafting, or see Iditarod, a 4-time Iditarod sled dog champion. So not only will you have the time to explore, you will have opportunities that you are not going to get anywhere else. When you get a summer job at McDonald's, you might get some free fries. When you get a summer job with us, you might get a free trip to, the highest mountain on the continent. So, I mean, it's really something that people should take advantage of.
Listening to you talk about this and all the info we've had so far, I think back to my days in college and how much I wish I had known about this to go do this, because you're absolutely right. When you go to Alaska, and I've been lucky to have been several times, and it is one of my absolute favorite places on planet Earth. I've never been there and thought, well, I've seen it all. I don't need to come back. All I do is think I have to come back because I haven't seen I've just a tiny fraction of what there is to experience is what I've done. So that's a great point about really living there and experiencing it and being part of the local team is pretty cool. All right. Okay, next up. Do employees get to dine in the restaurants and go on the excursions that the guests get to enjoy? Bonnie, do you want to cover that one?
Absolutely. Rick kind of talked already about the tour excursions, that the employees get an opportunity to go on. And absolutely, the employees get to dine in the restaurants. We actually encourage it. We want our employees to experience what our guests are experiencing, because then they can talk about it and answer questions, and their own Alaska experience is enriched. We have a wide range of restaurants available at all of our properties, ranging from coffee shops to pizza parlors, hamburger restaurants, to fine dining establishments. And these restaurants all come or offer a beautiful deep discount of 49% for our employees after the 49 state. So the employees can dine at the restaurant, get a nice discount, enjoy the food, the atmosphere, and then be able to tell others about it.
That's awesome. That's a great deal. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, here's a good one. So Kathleen, we'll start with you, and then Bonnie, Rick, you can chime in here. What is the weather like in Alaska during the summer?
What hour is it of the day? And it's going to change. It varies greatly. I'm from Arizona. It is much cooler than Arizona. It is actually not bad at all. It depends on the time of year. It depends on the time of day. One of the cool things about Alaska is the midnight sun. So even in June at midnight, when it's still light outside and you're like, oh my goodness, I need to eat dinner. I haven't done that yet because I'm out hiking and exploring. It's sweatshirt weather. It's going to be probably 70s, 60s, but it really ranges. It just depends on the day, the hour, and we always dress in layers so you can peel off and add.
Yeah. Does it ever rain in Alaska?
Never, never.
Yeah, it really does vary by the minute. So Rick or Bonnie, any context to add?
I like to tell people that when they come up to work with us for the summer, they'll get to see all 4 seasons. When you first arrive at the tail end of April, there'll still be some snow in the ditches and in the shaded spots under the trees. Then you get a influx into spring, and the leaves are popping up, the flowers are coming up. You'll get a really nice summer, as Kathleen mentioned, all the sunlight that we get. And then by the time you get towards the end of August and definitely into September, you get to feel an experience in Alaska in autumn. You'll get to see potentially the northern lights, because at that point we are going to get darkness at night. You get to see the colors in places like Denali National Park and Wrangell St. Elias National Park, which are truly amazing places. Do we get some rain? Yeah, absolutely. But we also get chances to go hiking at 11 o'clock at night, because we've got sunshine. So it's really nice, and it's pretty comfortable. You don't get the extremes of really hot, and you're not going to be here when you get the extremes of the 20 feet of snow that I have at my property right now. So you get all the best parts.
That's awesome. And I have to say, I've been in Juneau before, went to see a movie at 9 o'clock, came out of the movie theater, and it felt lighter than when I went into the movie theater. And you're right, Kathleen, about your clock is almost thrown off because you're so busy and you're doing some fun things, and you're like, oh man, I forgot to eat or forgot to what have you. So that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. We range so much on weather too. I mean, Anchorage and Fairbanks are just night and day. Anchorage is 60s, 70s, and then Fairbanks you get into the 80s and 90s. So there's a wide range depending on which part of the state you're in.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, now do you give rewards for finding more applicants? How does the reward process work? Oh, sorry. Whoever wants to take this one, I'm sorry.
I'll take that one.
Lost track of who's next.
Sorry, we have a reward for referral process. We want you to bring up your friends and family so you have great coworkers to work with and people that you know to experience Alaska with. So we range from anywhere from $200 per person to $1,000 per person, depending on the position. So we do offer rewards for referring your friends and family to come work for us.
That's great. That's a great program. And I wish I was in a valuable position where people could get rewards for referring me, but I don't have any actual skills other than just talking. So, but people clearly have those skills, like you said, the commercial drivers and the other roles that maybe you have more need for. So obviously that reward is going to vary based on that position. So,
correct.
Cool. Okay. Now this, I think, is the last of the pre-submitted questions. This is a good one. I've seen where I can get a free cruise for working in Alaska this summer. Is that for real? What's the small print on that? I love that question because there's doubt in that question. So what's the small print? Bonnie, do you want to take this one?
Yes, it is for real. For every employee that completes their contract with us this summer, they have earned the opportunity to go on a free Princess cruise or Holland America cruise, depending on which one they choose. They have to complete their contract. They have to work a minimum of 400 hours during their contract. And the small print on that is they have to pay for the port fees, the taxes and things that go along with the cruise. But the cruise will be free to the employee and anybody they want to bring along with them in the cabin.
That's awesome. What a great deal.
So let me throw out a very real scenario that we see every year. A retired couple who comes to work with us for the summer. Now that retired couple at the end of that summer, they don't have one free cruise, they have 2 free cruises. So now they're able to cruise one place on one person's free and then cruise from there back or even to another destination on a second. So it's really amazing. And as Bonnie mentioned, it's really for the cabin. So you can even take a person with you who hasn't worked with us before, let them dip their toe in the amazing waters of cruising. And then maybe they come back to work the next summer and earn another free cruise. You can literally work your way around the world, with these Alaska summer jobs.
Yeah, that's really cool. And as a couple is staying together and working together for that summer, I imagine they're going to want us to take the cruise with somebody else anyway. So they can just go their separate ways. And I like to say that the secret to staying married is to spend as little time as possible with each other. But that's just a personal tip from me. Okay, that's great insight. Were there any questions, Joe, that came in? Joe's behind the scenes. Oh, so Susan is asking, can a senior apply? And I think this was covered a little earlier. Kathleen, you mentioned this.
Yes, we do have some jobs for 16 and 17-year-olds in some of the bigger properties or bigger cities in Anchorage and Fairbanks. To live at a lodge and to live in our housing, you do have to be 18, but we can take some seniors in high school, if that's what you meant by that.
Yeah,
question.
I read something different in this question.
If you meant a senior as in a retired person, absolutely. We have all ages working for us, and we have quite a large retirement population in our employee pool. And we have full and part-time jobs available as well. Somebody asked earlier if there was overtime. one of the trains that takes guests directly from our Princess Ship in Whittier up to Bonnie or Rick's lodges, that is a long day. It's about a 10 to 12 hour day. So we do have overtime in some positions, and then others, it's more of an 8-hour day. And we definitely have folks that work part-time. Quite a few of our retired folks work for the port operations team that checks in guests in Whittier and gets people on and off the ship. So a range. If you have any questions, please apply and then talk to your hiring manager, and we'll point you in the direction of whichever position best suits you.
And we should definitely mention as well that, our full season is really that, beginning of May to the middle of September, but we do have some flexibility as well. Maybe you're only available from mid-June to the end of September. We've got positions that'll work in that area. Maybe you're available May and you have to go somewhere at the end of August. We can work with that as well. So as Kathleen mentioned, go to alaskatourjobs.com, see all the opportunities, but then definitely apply, because we can work with dates, even if they don't stretch that entirety of the season.
Yeah, that's great to know. Good flexibility. Okay, Joe, one more. Here we go. Raymond Gonzalez, the third. Do we have to share a room, or can we have a solo room? I think you covered this earlier, that there is double occupancy, I guess, but maybe is there any other context for that?
Sometimes based on position, the position will come with a solo room, but because our housing is limited, our rooms for the most part are double occupancy.
Okay, makes sense. Any others, Joe, that have come in? Laura is asking, does any of the housing allow pets? Good question. Maybe Bonnie or Rick want to answer this?
Yeah, typically our shared housing units are not going to allow pets because of that shared environment. There's allergies and different things to consider. But a great option for that is the RV option. So if we have folks who come up in an RV and stay at one of our RV sites, they are able to have a pet with them there.
Okay. Good to know. Sharon is asking, can you accommodate persons with disabilities? Maybe Bonnie, you want to cover this one?
Yeah, absolutely. We have job requirements for each of the positions that the hiring manager will go through. And you can also see on our website, that's scrolling below, all of the job descriptions with the listed requirements. So you can find a job that you can do. And then when you talk with the hiring manager, you can ask your questions and concerns there. And we can, once again, just like Kathleen talked about, steer to a position that would be a good fit.
Okay, cool. Catherine's asking, how does the international program work?
Well, I can try to touch on that. So we do hire some students from abroad. They participate. They actually get a J1 visa. So that is the one visa that we work. And we do work with sponsoring agencies. So we have sponsoring agency partners that do that.
Okay. Good to know. Liz is asking, she's just saying, this is nice. I've worked 16 seasons in Alaska. It's a great experience. Thanks for chiming in, Liz.
We all know Liz, too.
We all know Liz.
I hope so. If she's been there 16 years and you guys don't know her, then something's going wrong. That's cool.
Liz is a perfect example, though. We have a lot of employees that come back year after year and work for us for the cruising benefits, for the amazing Alaska experience, and they're awesome coworkers as well.
That's cool. Now, we're running to the top of the hour, but I wanted to ask you all one last question. So if you could go back in time and you had to pick a different job to what you started with, what would you do? Like, what would be the job you would start over again? Kathleen, I'm going to start with you.
Ooh, that's a hard one. I guess I started in Anchorage and I kind of moved around and I stayed with the rail for quite a while. So I guess I would start up north and then work my way south just to see more of the state.
Okay, good one. Rick, what about you?
I think so. I've worked in the lodge operations almost exclusively. So I think I would be interested in checking out some of our port operation positions in Southeast Alaska, maybe Skagway or Ketchikan. Just to see an area, because that's, again, the state is so large, it's an area I haven't been able to spend a lot of time in. So it'd be fun to check out some of those communities.
Yeah.
Can I change my answer? I want that.
Sure.
And that was going to be my answer too. I want to spend time in Southeast and do some hiking and exploring. It's hard to get there when you work in the interior of Alaska. That's a long ways to go for your one day off in the summer.
Sure.
So would want to spend some time in Southeast.
So if I had to choose, and I haven't obviously done this before, so one of the things Kathleen and I love is the train experience. And I'm not a train guy. Like I don't have train sets at home. That's not me. But I've done the train trip from Fairbanks down to McKinley. I've done it from Anchorage to Whittier a couple times, or vice versa. And there's just something about being on that train. I would be a great bartender, I think, on that train. And I probably would get fired for drinking the product. But nonetheless, that would probably be where I would want to start, because it is such an amazing experience being on those great trains.
I totally agree with you. And we have a job for you, John. You can come up anytime and bartend for us.
Perfect.
Please don't drink until your shift is over.
Yeah.
All right. If you insist.
It's amazing, though. The glass dome windows,
Yeah.
It's the best office view in the world. And the restaurants in the lower level, that job on board has a position for everybody. And it is such a cool experience and a great way to see Alaska and spend your summer.
Yeah. I never thought an 8-hour train ride would go by like that. And it did
really
for me.
Does.
It was crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you, Kathleen, Bonnie, Rick. We appreciate you joining us today. Great information, great insights. Hope everybody who was tuned in got the question they had answered, or maybe inspired them even beyond where they were to say, wow, this really sounds like a great opportunity. So please do visit alaskatourjobs.com. We hope that you or your friends or family are able to join us this summer. Great opportunities. And we look forward to welcoming you to be part of the HAP Alaska Yukon family. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Take care.
Mhm.